paradise. Until one day, Lady Eyeline finally hit her limit.
Another family came today, demanding you marry their daughter.
Quick! Lock me up! Don't let me out no matter how much I beg!
So-called husband hasn't set foot in the house once. To take the edge off, I had someone buy me a bond slip from the black market. Duke's son on vacation. I couldn't afford him, so I got tough and started penny punching on him. Guess what? After 2 measly meals of coarse bread and stale biscuits, he actually glared at me, eyes all red, and yelled,
"I'm done being your man!"
I blinked, then I kindly reminded him, "What man? I've been married this whole time. At best, you're my side piece." His face went ghost white. He grit his teeth and spat back.
"You're so broke, and you think you can afford to keep a lover?"
We left it at that. A fight, a slammed door, and silence. I packed my stuff and went back to the capital. The moment I walked in, I heard that my husband's long-missing younger brother had finally come home. The second son was creeling in the great hall, and they'd just given him 10 lashes. Through the door, I heard my mother-in-law, Lady Eveline, shaking with rage.
You had to fall for someone else's wife? Of all people! Isn't this family a mess enough for you?
I felt bad for the guy, so I turned his head, looked right at me, and his lips curled up.
"Faye, long time no see."
I froze. That face, those eyes, that infuriatingly smug expression. Oh, hell no. That was my high-maintenance, impossible secret lover. Then my father, on his deathbed, actually went and made my pathetic dream come true. Back in the day, he'd saved some big shot in the military. That man later rose to power and became the most powerful family in the capital. And my dad used that old favor to arrange a marriage for me. After I buried him, I happily packed my bags and headed for the capital, ready to marry a man I'd never even seen. But on our wedding night, my husband left a letter and ran off before I could say, "I do." He said he had urgent business for the crown, or maybe he just didn't want to marry me. Either way, I was stuck at the House Valois, a bride nobody knew what to do with. Lady Eveline had a 3-day migraine over it. Eventually, she stuck me in a small courtyard on the east side of the estate and told me to stay put. That was 2 years ago. In 2 years, my husband never wrote, never called, never showed up. Lady Eyeline was always cold to me, but she never skimped on anything. My monthly allowance was generous, and I adapt fast. No husband? No husband, no problem. I slept till noon every day. When I got bored, I'd throw on men's clothes, sneak into the city, and flirt with noble lamings. If I caused trouble, I just flashed the house valet's distant relative card and breezed through it. Life was paradise. Until one day, Lady Eyeline finally hit her limit.
Another family came today, demanding you marry their daughter.
She snapped, sitting in her high-back chair, gripping her wine glass like she wanted to crush it. Could have been worse.
How?
Honestly, I thought someone was here to kill me.
You think nobody wants to?
Fair point. I'd been out there using the Valois name, sticking my nose in everything and making plenty of enemies. I rubbed the back of my neck, ready to apologize, but she cut me off, ice cold.
Adrian's been gone 2 years. For all I know, he's dead. I'm calling this marriage off.
Danger. Red alert. Call it off? No way was I getting kicked out of this sweet, money-filled, no-effort lifestyle. So without missing a beat, I threw myself on the floor. I'm very good at this and put on my best whiny voice. I'm not leaving. If you force me out, I'll crawl through the streets crying until the whole capital knows that the House Valois married a girl and then dumped her.
What did we ever do to deserve you?
Her floor was covered in thick wool carpet. I sank into it like a cloud. Anything else, my lady? No? Great. I think I'll nap. She pressed a hand to her forehead and said nothing for a long time. Then I saw she was actually upset, so I carefully got up, walked around behind her, and started rubbing her shoulders. My lady, don't be mad. You know the House Valois hasn't had it easy these past few years. The eldest son ran off. The second won't behave. Lord Richard only cares about business outside. This whole house, top to bottom, you're the one who holds it together. Other people might not see it, but I do. The real head of the House Valois has always been you. Her shoulders went stiff. I pulled a little box from my bag and put it in her hand. See this? I got into a fight in the city the other day, just to grab it for you. It's the new lipstick from the south. only a few in the whole capital. Lady Eveline looked down at the box. Then she slowly glanced around the room. My adventure drockrels sat by the bed. The pot of white roses by the window was one I'd carried home from the market. After a long moment, she sighed.
You're a little monster. A troublemaking little monster. But the house has felt more alive because of you. Thank you for not being scared off by my cold shoulder and for always trying to cheer me up.
I repinned her hair, opened the lipstick, and carefully dabbed a little on her lips. I smiled at her. My lady, the gods gave you this face. Don't let yourself turn into a dusty old portrait before your time.
So sweet. You're out of money again, aren't you?
Well, yes. But I also have a real favor to ask.
Go on.
I can't just wander around the city forever. How about you send me to Silver Lake Academy? Their military program is supposed to be great. My dad taught me swordplay when I was little. I'll put in a few years, maybe even land a commission, and come back to watch your back. The kingdom had changed. Anyone, man or woman, with real skill could join the military now. I'm lazy, not stupid. If I had to push myself, I could. Lady Eveline's eyes lit up.
You got into Silver Lake?
I scratched my head.
Not exactly. Want to just buy my way in?
She kicked me in the butt.
Get out!
I shuffled to the door, and just as I reached it, she said, cold as ice,
Come back.
I turned around, standing at attention like a good soldier.
Fine, I'll send you.
I blinked. Her voice was gruff, but her eyes were getting red.
Don't cause too much trouble out there. And if you do, don't use my name. I'd be ashamed.
I nodded fast.
But if someone starts something with you, don't back down. My brother's the governor of the Southlands now. If anything happens, go to him. As long as you're even a little in the right, you hit back twice as hard.
My heart got warm. I went over and hugged her, pressing my face into her shoulder.
My lady, I'll miss you.
Go on. Enough of that.
She stiffed. Her ears went pink, but her voice stayed sharp. At the door, she suddenly grabbed my arm and lowered her voice.
You're going to be alone out there. If you get lonely, finding a man isn't the worst thing. If you get lonely, finding a man isn't the worst thing. Just don't let some pretty face fool you.
I was speechless.
My lady, do I look like that kind of person?
She gave me a long, knowing smile.
For some reason, I felt guilty. I puffed out my chest and swore.
Don't worry, I'll be on my best behavior.
3 months later, that promise was in pieces on the floor. Silver Lake Academy was everything they said. The hardest school to get into, and the most exhausting. Day classes, night training, morning runs. In 2 months, I'd lost weight, and my arms and legs act like they belonged to someone else. But here's the thing about the Southlands. It's way more open than the capital. Several of my classmates, highborn ladies with official husbands at home, had lovers on the side. They got hot soup delivered, warm cloaks draped over their shoulders, pretty boys meeting them after every class. And me? I climbed into a cold bed by myself every night. The longer I lay there, the sorrier I felt for myself. So I wrote to Lady Eveline with tears in my eyes. My lady, I can't do this anymore. Call off the marriage if you want, but this cold, lonely bed is going to kill me. Her reply came a few days later. The whole letter was her yelling at me in ink. Is this really about a man? You'd throw away this family over a warm body? Then, lower down. Fine, I'll find you someone reliable. A woman just needs to know where home is. A lover on the side is nothing. Focus on your studies. When you come back, clean up your mess. Other than you and me, nobody has to know a thing. I stored the letter safely. Reading when servants dragged an unconscious man into my room. I stood there completely stunned. She really didn't waste any time. I crouched down and looked at the man they'd brought. He wore a dark white shirt, stained with old blood. His wrists and ankles were raw. His skin was covered in whip marks and bruises, but his face, sharp eyebrows, high nose, thin lips, he didn't look like a slave. He looked like a nobleman's son. I sighed, had his chains removed, and called a physician. 3 days later, he woke up. First thing he did was glare at me. His voice was wrecked, but he was still fierce.
Let me go.
I smiled, held out a bowl of medicine, pinched his chin, and poured it down his throat. He grimaced at the bitter taste. You can go, but I've kept you for 3 days. Medicine, doctor, food, that's 20 silver boins. Pay me back first. He turned his face away and closed his eyes. I don't force anyone. Once you're healed, leave anytime. But this isn't a charity. You stay, you pay rent. 2 silver a month. Fair? He didn't answer. Just his eyelashes fluttered. I left him alone. I had classes and training. I didn't have the energy to babysit. But 10 days later, things changed. I just washed up and was about to go to bed when my door opened. He walked in slowly, stood by the bed. Ears bright red, eyes still fierce. Before I could ask, he climbed onto the bed, grabbed my shoulder and practically ground out.
I'll do it. With you.
I froze. He leaned down to bite my lip, clumsy, trembling, his eyes filled with tears.
This is my first time. Be gentle, or I'll haunt you forever.
I almost laughed. His eyes were red, and he added, furious.
And you have to take care of me.
I patted his back. Then I pulled out a pill and popped it into his mouth. Swallow. He frowned but did it. Half an hour later, the flush on his face faded. That antidote cost me 30 silver. Plus what you owe me, you're at 50 silver now.
You tricked me?
I saved you. If you want, stay and be my attendant. I'll pay you 2 silver a month. When you're not working for me, find a job. Pay off your debt, and you're free to go. He stared at me for a long time. His expression went through about 5 different emotions. Then he smiled.
Fine. Don't regret it.
I didn't know it yet, but I hadn't rescued a pretty man. I'd rescued a disaster. Turns out, pretty men have no common sense. He was the worst attendant ever. I asked him to boil water. He nearly burned down the kitchen. I asked him to do laundry. He shredded 3 of my best dresses. I asked him to clean the room. He broke a vase and soaked my homework. And the next day, I almost got screamed off the training field. I looked at the chaos around me, head pounding. Finally, I slapped a new bill on the table. Just go. Leave an IUU. Pay me back when you can. I expected him to walk out without looking back. Instead, his eyes went red.
Because I can't do this little stuff right, you're kicking me out?
He glared at me like I'd committed a crime.
Do you have any honor at all?
I was so startled I got mad too. What are you even talking about? We're barely more than landlord and debtor. Why are you acting like this is some big betrayal?
Oh, really? Then how do you explain this?
He laughed coldly, yanked open his collar, and showed me the hickey on his shoulder.
The other night, you were all baby. Belle for you the second I saw you. I want to die on top of you. Who was that?